Hi everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Another busy day here in Lower Alabama. I'm getting stuff done. I'm finally starting to kind of settle down into my routine, and I'm being productive on a daily basis. I got a meeting here about 1 o'clock for some last little tweaks on some of the designs for the shirts. And I basically got the store just about ready to go, or at least almost ready to start selling shirts and showing some of the shirts. So pretty excited about that. I'm still working on the book, the day to day, making videos, doing some writing here and there. It keeps my days full. So anyhow, I wanted to talk today about, again, in a series, how to get started on the raw vegan lifestyle. And I wanted to talk about walking before you run. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button now. Click on the little bell and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. Even if you already have been subscribed, check that out. Go back through that and click on that little bell. See if you can't get back in there and check send notifications, because I think that I got to keep mentioning that. I think the glitch is back again. Seems to be people are losing subscribers on YouTube. Just where you go in and you find out you're no longer subscribed to a channel for some reason or whatever. But anyhow, just wanted to let you know that. I'm going to kind of just keep doing these like little hacks, how to get started on a raw vegan lifestyle from a simple practical approach. This isn't a step-by-step like drop this on the 3rd week and do this and look at this level and this and this. Just hopefully some practical advice you can use in your process as you're trying to eat more and more raw every day. Too many people trying to run before they can walk. I would say go through the proper steps. At least go through the steps. If you find that you're okay at a certain level and you want to move on a little bit quicker, okay. But just make sure, I've always stressed in anything, whether you're learning, whether it's mathematics, whether it's learning a foreign language, pretty much anything that's learning based, if the knowledge builds on itself, I'm so big on getting steady at this level, getting steady where you are here before you move up. Don't move up if you're not comfortable here. Don't move up if you're not comfortable eating, a way that's even a little bit less stringent than where you want to be. Okay, so when we come to the raw vegan lifestyle, I talked about this maybe even in just the video yesterday. I think sometimes it's ego or just people can be over anxious or just anxious or really excited and they don't want to take their time and do a proper transition. That can be a little boring. That's not as exciting as hearing those stories of I went raw vegan overnight, which are very low percentages. So I would say, first step, which I consider walking before you run. If as you're coming to this lifestyle, especially from the standard American diet, when you directly come from standard American to plant-based, in those very beginning stages, just work on plant-based. Just work on plant-based. Just work on getting to plant-based. I don't care if it's junk food plant-based. I don't care if you're still eating oil. I don't care how you're doing it. Work on getting to plant-based. When you can do plant-based, then move on. Who knows? You might be able to do it in 1 week. If you go from standard American diet to a plant-based lifestyle. If after a week or two you say, okay, I can do this flawlessly, okay, then you can start moving along. But make sure you're steady there. And as you're moving along, don't try to go too fast. Just try to keep progressing. Try to keep moving forward. Maybe that next step. And like I say, I'm just giving a few examples, not necessarily particulars. The next step from just simply doing a plant-based vegan lifestyle would be to start cleaning that up a little bit, and also might be to start getting more raw food in there. It can kind of go hand in hand as I'm writing this book, the 30-day raw vegan food challenge. That's kind of a working title. I'm not sure if it's going to be the end title because it's not necessarily a challenge. It's just kind of a informational book on how to get you to fully raw if you want to go there, or you can drop out anywhere along the way. And one of the first parts of that is of my kind of little plan, my challenge, my system, if that's what you want to call it, is starting off by being raw until noon. So you go from You know, I mean, that's probably pretty easy in the beginning anyway, but what all I'm stressing here is just make sure you're double checking that you're not moving too quickly for you. I would say, you know, first get to that, get to the plant-based lifestyle. You're solid living plant-based, you're solid eating vegan. Then that next step, like I say, is start cleaning up a little bit. You know, okay, now you're gonna be raw till noon every day. That's all you're eating is fruits, smoothies, juices, whatever, up until noon, and that's it. And that's a good start. So you know, now you're plant based. Now you're eating raw till noon. You can also maybe start cleaning it up a little bit, you know, having it more of a high carb, whole foods, you know, start drunk if you got into that to start, and that's okay, you know. Everybody starts where they are. If you're doing the vegan junk food and stuff, maybe replace some of the packaged and not so good stuff with whole foods, with sweet potatoes, with quinoa, you know, vegetables, but whole foods in their whole form. And then, like I say, you could just, it's just, you progress. You know, I don't like to necessarily lay people's process out for them, because a process in anything is kind of a personal thing, and you're going to accomplish something, learn something, figure something out easier, more efficiently, if you kind of have a little bit input into the process. Like, you've kind of got to create your own process. I think that's much more that works a lot better than somebody else just telling you, okay, do this, 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 and this, because we all learn things differently. We all have little quirks and whatever. So you figure out exactly to do it for you. This isn't like I say, do this A, B, C, D, and E, and then you're all vegan. But at each stage of your development, just make sure you're comfortable there before you move on. You know, it's been a gradual down the road, a little bit more, a little bit more. The next step, you know, might be after you're raw till noon. Then you go for raw till dinner. And you see what I'm getting at, though. It's like you're just tweaking little bits. When you feel ready, when you feel solid at the level you're at, when your feet are steady on that ground, then you can start thinking, okay, now let's move a little further. Let's get a little bit more raw. Let's get a little cleaner there. And you just keep moving down. You keep moving down the road. And like I've talked about many times, if you would really think this out and really put some effort into this process, you wouldn't have to do this yo-yoing back and forth, no matter how slow you're moving or fast. You don't have to backtrack. You don't have to backtrack. So like I say, if you got to just move down the road 20 miles an hour and keep going forward, do that. But don't jump. You know, don't jump further into your journey than you are ready for, because that's when we get into these little psychological issues that I think are really tripping people up. When people have what they consider failures on this lifestyle, even the ones that can love and light and be all cheery and bubbly about it, it still gets into their heads. Losses get into your head. So when people jump to a stage of the lifestyle that they're not really ready for, when they're trying to, you know, go next level, and basically when they're trying to eat nothing but fruit and eating mono meals and they're damn sure not ready, when they can't do it, then it's like they get crushed, and you know, there's this psychological defeat, and it tends to knock people back a few steps and throw them off their game, when that's just not necessary. As I say over and over and over and over, if you're like most of us, hey, maybe there's a 12-year-old or something out there that just came to this lifestyle, and you haven't been living a bad way for for decades. But for most of us, we've had bad habits. We've done like most people have done. We've eaten like most people have eaten most of our lives. So I just don't see this big rush that after doing that for so long, that we have to go from being, you know, on the standard American diet, like a lot of times a horrible version of the standard American diet, but then we find out about this lifestyle, we find out about the health, the healing properties of this lifestyle and the health benefits, but all of a sudden we think that after doing all this for all this years, we're just going to absolutely die if we don't go to that fully raw vegan overnight. That becomes the end all be all, just like I talked in a video the other day, and that's just insane thinking. This is a long-term thing. This is your life. This is, to use the cliche I've used many, many times, this is a marathon, not a sprint. You know, hopefully you found something that makes sense to you. You're going to be doing this for the rest of your life. So this whole kind of, I've got to get there as quick as possible, or I've got to be the best raw vegan out there. It's not like it's a competitive sport. So, you know, just try to do what you need to do to get to the healthiest version of the lifestyle that you want to live. And like I say, maybe you don't want to be fully raw. None of my videos, this book that I'm writing, nothing I ever talk about tries to lead people down this path that you have to be fully raw. Now, I'm always happy to help you with tricks, and this book is focused on, once it's completed, all the sections and everything, it is going to be kind of, I think, a blueprint, an outline, a plan for taking someone to fully raw if that's where they want to get. But get off the train anytime you want to, or just use these tricks to be as fully raw as you want. In other words, you've got the tool in your tool belt. You can decide how you want to use that tool. So yeah, you would just progress on, and you know, with just a little bit of planning. Don't be lazy. If you're really interested in this lifestyle, don't be lazy. Make yourself a plan. Put a little effort into it. You know, with the premise of this whole book, and once it's done, and the whole thought process that I've got in there, there's a fast track and there's a slower track. There's a fast track of going from standard American diet to fully raw vegan in 3 months. There's a little bit more reasonable, what I like, more solid plan that would actually take you from standard American diet to fully raw vegan in 5 months. And that is not hard. I'm telling you, if you saw the outline of this and you really thought about it, and you let the ego get out of the way, and not like, oh, well, no, I'm not going 5 months. Oh my God, that's a long time. I guarantee you, once again, if I put somebody into captivity in my little lair down in Costa Rica, and I had total control of them for 5 months, I would take them from standard American diet to fully raw vegan. No problem. No problem. Oh, they'd whine and they'd cry and they'd tell me they were going to die, you know, probably a few times along the way, but I'd be feeding them plenty of food, and it would all be psychological, but it can be done. But anyhow, don't get ahead of yourself. Learn how to walk before you can run. Ain't no shame in having training wheels on the bike. Well, pretty much all of us had training wheels when we were a kid. I know there was that one tough kid that just like gutted it out and started with no training wheels, and he skinned his knee a lot. If you want to skin your knee a lot, that's a method too. But anyhow, just my 2 cents worth. Your mileage may vary. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If y'all like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace.